Hello and welcome. You're tuned to the Leg Up, your weekly thoroughbred preview show, the best hour on trackside television, and it's Wellington Cup Day. And we're here live at Trentham on a humid day. Good morning, Paul. Pretty warm. Yeah. I'm not sweating yet, but I'm not holding out much hope that that'll change.
No, by the time we get to the end of the show, you'll be soaking. Just looking out now, there's a whole heap of cloud cover as we go live on Friday morning. But as you say, it is very, very humid. And there's a wee bit of showers in the forecast, but I'll let Steve get to that a wee bit later.
Yeah.
Let's hope we get through and have a great old Wellington Cup Day tomorrow.
Yeah, fingers crossed for that. Morning, Stephen. What about last week first, the Telegraph Day?
Yeah, action-packed, headed by the Telegraph. A lot spoken, a lot of chit-chat around how the race unfolded in terms of race shape. To the 600, they've gone 36 and change, the last 632 and change, so almost 4 seconds separating the first half of the race to the second half of the race. You look at the ratings. Look, the overall speed rating was half a length below Group 1 standard, so no real knock there. In terms of the race shape, well, it rated 5.3 to 18 lengths slower early than the 2 previous Telegraphs in 2023 and 2022. Look, the overall time, 108.51. You have to go back roughly around a decade or so with Final Touch 1 to be an overall slower time. But notably, that was on a genuine soft track. So you have to rewind the clock, I think, to late 90s to find an overall slower time that was on a comparable track, a good surface. But look, full credit to the winner, and Mercurial. He's definitely gone under the guard from us, but in particular punters. Look, his railway performance, considering they went hard, he had the audacity to stick on. Yes, he caused a little bit of interference at roughly around the 150 mark, but look, that was the A-grade form. We spoke about that 7 days ago leading into the race. And he opened roughly around about $10, and he closed, I think, $21 SP. Yeah. So again, he was left alone by punters. He's one of those horses that every trainer would love to have in a stable, at least a dozen of them, because he tries every time he goes to the races.
Yeah. And Quintessa got the job done as well in the Living Classic.
Yeah, peach of a ride from Opie, 10 out of 10, what you expect in an elite race. And look, we've spoken about her at length in the last 2 to 3 months, her progression. When we first saw her really come to light at Hawke's Bay over the Spring Carnival, she had a little turnout, came back, resumed at Te Rapa with a really good run. Equally good run at Pukekohe on Boxing Day, and she got her just deserves a filly, winning a Group 1. That residual value when she goes to the breeding barn after her career. But look, that career could last for another 2 to 3 seasons, and I think she's getting freshened up towards a BCD sprint, which...
Gee, that'll add some interest.
Well, yeah, add Chris Shetty, so there's 2 gun 3-year-olds, a colt and a filly, up against Waitak and the open class sprinters. It's one of many good races which Butch is going to have on his track in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, okay. Well, as we know, speaking of good races, it's Wellington Cup Day tomorrow, and an iconic part of the Wellington Cup Day has been Tony Lee, and it's Tony's last day calling tomorrow. And what we've managed to do is piece together our favourite calls of Tony Lee as a little package in dedication to him.
You're simply the best.
The man that will paint the picture for your Group 1 this afternoon is Tony Lee.
My pleasure to do so as well.
But it's Castletown, the dream burst into reality, and Castletown's going to win the cup. That is third. Castletown, the champion's done it.
And look at excellent flying right down the outside. Amazing. He is a megastar. Excellent, outstanding, unbelievable. She's about to sprout wings, coming with an on du jour. Princess Cape, the kilt winner, blazes on by. What a win! Brilliant in the finish.
Woohoo, how about this? If you got on the kilt before this one, look for a new car. Whoa. Is this going to be the moment he assassinate coming after them, Platinum Spirit? Here's CWJ, the magic man, a magic moment. He's done it with a magic ride. He has done it, the greatest of all time. You've witnessed it here, folks.
Ooh, I got goosebumps. I love that Princess Cope call. That was mine in the 2008 Stony Bridge. But yeah, T. Lee's last day. Look, he deserves to go out on his own terms, and he's going to do that tomorrow. He's calling 4 races, 1, 7, 8 and 9. Justin Evans is going to be in support for him. He Got a lot of friends and family on track tomorrow, Tony, to support him, and he wants to be able to enjoy the day his way, and no doubt he deserves that, boys.
He certainly does. He's a voice that is synonymous with some of the biggest moments in New Zealand racing history, as we just showed there, just a few of them. But he never really had a bad call.
Yeah, no, exactly.
No. And you're right, there'll be plenty on course tomorrow to give him an apt
And he's going to be able to get around and enjoy the day as well, which will be a nice part of it, Steve.
Yes.
I think the beauty about T. Lee, he was able to identify the potential winners before it unfolded on track.
That Princess Cope was a good example.
Absolutely,
He had
even
really
Excellent
early.
and Sassenach. I brought up Sassenach for that reason alone. Sassenach was in the last 2 or 3 coming around the turn, and T. Lee was able to just keep an eye on that horse, weave through with Chris Johnson aboard, and he identified that horse, the way it was travelling, to be right in the finish at the business end, and he was able to do that basically every time he called. It was just a knack of X factor he had over his peers, but also a note of T. Lee's ability as a caller is when you listen to him on radio, you knew exactly where your horse was placed without having that vision in front of you, and that was a testament of how good his quality was in terms of the commentary box.
Yeah, congratulations to T. Lee. His last race call will be a Wellington Cup, and his great mate Alan Sherritt has the favourite, so that would be something. If that could be the way to sign off your career, congratulations, Tony. Look, you might have noticed no BP today. He's flown the coop again.
Is he going to be back?
Well, that's the big question. He's going to have to earn his stripes, BP. He has managed to send us a maiden of the week, Stephen. I'll need you to come in here. It's Dreams Come True, the 3-year-old filly here, winning at Te Rapa last Wednesday, I believe.
Yeah, this was her second performance. What you didn't see the first half of the race is Cozzy drew barrier 13 off 13 for the filly by Stephanos. He elected to go right back to last second outer, and at one stage he was 10 lengths off the leader. Still at the 600 was still 6 lengths off the leading 2. So she had to produce very strong closing sectionals. Yes, the race shape favoured her a touch. You see it at the 600, basically on par versus open class. I've come home 5 lengths below par in terms of an open class number, but her closing sectionals were very good. Obviously the best in the race, comparable to the best on the day. In fact, her last 400 was number 1 ranked on the day, and her last 200 was number 3 ranked on the day. So yeah, very progressive filly, and like I say, she's by Stephanos out of a shocking mare. That was 1,600 metres. I feel 2,000 and beyond, potentially an Oaks candidate, whether it's a New Zealand Oaks or maybe across the Tasman, possibly Queensland.
Okay.
But a lot of doors have opened on the back of that. But notably, the bloodstock agents will be circling the owners and looking to get their mitts on that filly. So potentially that may have been her one and only run, well, winning run here on New Zealand shores. But that remains to be seen, but definitely a horse to follow. In terms of the Beaten Brigade, I thought the second horse was very good. And Cupid's Arrow, that started Faith Thaddeus. It was 3 wide, the trip facing the breeze. It was Gallant in second. Outside that, yeah, look, nothing really stood out in terms of I'd be rushing to follow, but I think placed right, they can all be competitive going forward, but definitely the top 2.
Okay, let's get to Trentham. We've got 4 races we want to have a look at, but before we get to those races, weather and track conditions, I can tell you the weather. I can comment on the weather at the moment. Where's that cloud going, Paul?
Boy, it's getting burnt off very, very quickly.
Where's the drone footage, Steve? What do you got for us?
Well, look at the occasional rain, and I think that is bang on. You wouldn't think it today or this morning. There's a bit, as we say, cloud cover, but there is rain forecast or showers forecasted tomorrow, race day. Look, the last meeting, we have to only go back 7 days. I thought the track played extremely well, Thaddeus. There was horses winning from all different lanes. Most of the races were down to tempo related. The rail stays in the true position. Look, whether they have to irrigate it today remains to be seen, but if we don't get any rain, look for that genuine upgrade, which we did see 7 days ago, from a good 4 to a good 3 at the back end of the card. But look, I was very happy how the track played last week, and if we just don't get that rain on race day, it should be a belter.
Yeah, okay. Let's get to race number 8 on the card. Before we look at the Cup, we want to look at the Group 1 Thorndon Mile, and this has brought together a very good field, Steve.
Yeah, Kempanesa heads the market, Thaddeus, a well-played favourite at 3.30, opens that remains that original quote from Wednesday. Pinchura at 5.50 in that second line, Habana at 6.5, Skyman at $9, El Vencedor just out of turn 9 out to 10, no compromise, similar betting profile just out of turn 11 out to 12. One Bowl Cat, I walked in the office this morning, Thaddeus, and One Bowl Cat, which was a winning result yesterday afternoon, is now a losing liability, so that's been well played in the last 12 or so hours. This is dramatic at $13. Lingjingzong Feng, 21 and 18, natural high lay price, currently a losing liability, and best of the rest is Harlech, 21 out to 26. So, look, if I had to give a little bit of lead in the point end of the market in terms of dollars invested, it would be around number 2 Habana and number 6 Skyman.
Yeah, well, they got the money with Habana, but the race we first want to have a look at is it's a Beale Classic, Paul, and look, 2,000 metres, obviously, so a little bit further than they'll be travelling tomorrow, but Campionessa, no compromise, and One Bowl Cat running on from the back.
Yeah, I love the Campionessa here. Look, it was another peach of a ride by Opie, and it had to be because No Compromise put up a huge challenge over that last furlong. In fact, it looked as though No Compromise was going to go past, but Campionessa dug deep here, fought back, and just out-toughed No Compromise. She's in the form of her life, with wins in the Group 2 Kala Isuzu and the Auckland Thoroughbred Breeders. No Opie on Wellington Cup Day, but
Yes.
she does get the services of Matty Cameron, so there's a lot of positives there for for Campionessa.
Yeah, no problem dropping back to the mile, Steve. I mean, we've got the mile form versus these 2,000 metre horses here.
Not with Campionessa. Not with Campionessa. I think she's as potent at 1,600 as she is 2,000 metres. Astute stable. They would have known what to do. Post that victory in the Beale Classic. Again, she looks well placed at set weights and penalties. Even with that penalty she receives winning a Group 1 now. That crucial 2 kg allowance she gets being a mare sits perfectly here. She is the highest rated horse in the field. And like I say, with that upgrade and the race shape that unfolded the Beale, yes, tick, tick. But I've got no negative dropping back to 1,600 purely what we've seen in her career to date.
Okay. The Rich Hill Miles, the next race I want to highlight, and it's obviously got Habana, the winner, and El Venciador, and Lingjingzong Feng there finishing well back. But tough Habana, no doubt about that, Paul.
Yeah, well, he was one of the Magnificent Seven, wasn't he? On New Year's Day. Look, he needed every inch of the 1,600 metres at Pookie on New Year's Day to get over the top of St. Bathans. And his closing sectionals were very, very sharp. So he's a big chance. Look, I love the run of El Venciador. He ran a close second to Habana Pookie back in November last year after finding trouble in the straight. He won the Eagle Technology Stakes at Te Rapa, ran third in the Rich Hill Mile, as we just saw there, after being towards the front under a very quick tempo. I was impressed with how he held on for third, El Venciador, and I think he needs to be on top of the track. He's a bit of a dancer for mine, loves to be up on top of his toes, in my opinion. So El Venciador, if we do get a good 4 or better, I think he's the bet of the day, El Venciador.
Bet of the day?
They did go hard on the
mile. Got the mile. We were worried about that potentially.
He did that in the Eagle Tech earlier this prep, which was a bit of a question mark leading into this preparation. I think he just needs to be rated a touch better for the first 600. They went 60-64 to the 600 in the Rich Hill, which is 7.5 lengths above open class. So, look, he did well to hang on to a top 3 position, and those swoopers finished over the top of them late, in particular Habana. With Habana, I just got negative about the draw.
Yeah, the draw's sticky.
The weight's no issue. He's a horse that can carry weight. We've seen that at the top of the book and ratings in these open handicap conditions. But in set weights and penalties, he drops to 57. That's no real knock. My only negative and problematic betting into him is the draw. He's drawn, I think, barrier 14. He'll go back to the last third. And I just don't think there's the speed early that what we found in the Rich Hill. Obviously, we've talked about El Venciador will go forward. I think Skyman will sit second out. We'll touch on Skyman shortly.
Okay.
But outside those two, our Echo might hold a position from in and a gate. But I think if the 2 Marsh runners find their position early, I can't see a mid-race move to take those 2 on. So if they're rated accordingly to the 600, they'll get everything in terms of a winning possibility in their favour. To the 600, it's just up to them how good they are in the last 600.
Yeah, okay. Manawatu Challenge Stakes saw Puntura and Lightning Jack competing against each other. And look, this Puntura, boys, been flying. Good win here and good win in the Copeland, Steve.
I think the beauty about him is his versatility. We saw 2 starts ago on the Copeland's Mile, Craig Grills from a wide gate, rode with intent, put them in the race, stacked them up, sprinted home. You see here his last start performance off a very solid tempo. Craig went back to the last third, then came down the outside and finished over the top of them in a nice class rating of 1.5 lengths above the standard. So, look, that was a strong enough field, beating a Group 1 winner there in second, a few other classy open handicap horses. He maps well. I think because of his versatility, Craig Grills will have options depending on tempo from barrier 7, whether he just goes forward to midfield or he can just go back. He wouldn't want too much rain on the day, and I don't want to speak too much about the fall that might potentially happen with the dark cloud in the forecast, but I think if the race was to run right now and it was a genuine good, that brings him right into the race, even though he's not totally discounted if we do get showers.
You're a Robbie Patterson man.
Yeah, well, Steve just said when he walked into the office, One Bowl Cat, the stablemate, had taken a bit of money. So that is very, very interesting. Look, I've got punter in my numbers. Look, I thought the win in the Copelands was very, very good, and he showed that wasn't a fluke by coming out after that and winning the Group 2 Bramco Granite and Marble Manawatu Challenge Stakes. So he's from a stable that's on fire. He's racing very, very well at the moment.
Yep.
He's in there somewhere.
Okay. And Skyman, you mentioned Skyman, Steve. Let's say, let's call it the interesting runner in this market, and I know it's not a great result in our futures book, so some people are sitting on some decent tickets here on Skyman.
100%, and that hasn't put them off betting into the final field market either, Thaddeus, because in terms of the futures market, is it a horrible result? I think we opened $21, $26 and was roughly around that $10, $11 price on the close. But look, good trial. Legato wins the trial, a couple of tidy 3-year-olds from the Tiakau barn finished in the group there. Look, I think if you go back on his Aussie CV, he's a genuine Group 3 listed candidate, but that may be good enough to win a race like the Thorndon Mile. I think he'll have to be at his best.
Yep.
A mile seems to be his sweet spot. He's won 5 of his 9 starts at 1,600 metres, and he's a horse that I mapped to be second outer with his stablemate, in Al Vencedor. So, yeah, look, these Aussies are always hard to gauge when they come over here, but they tend to run right up to betting expectation.
Yep.
And again, I can't see him drifting too much into that double-figure line, so he's comfortably in that top 3 or 4 in the market.
He adds a wee bit of spice here.
Yeah, you love a bit of spice too, that's the thing.
I do. I like it. He ran second to Pericles in the Group 2 tramway at Randwick, right?
Yep.
Now, his form since then hasn't been the best, but we only have to think back to the Richhill Mile and the run of St Bathans, who brought over some fairly average form from the other side of the Tasman. So Skyman I think, would only have to run to how he had been running prior to him arriving here, for him to be right in this. And I think you guys
might be in a bit of strife.
You're dangling him out there, even though he's been backed in the futures.
Also, another factor which we'll see over our summer period is the Aussie jockeys coming over here. Now Racing.com taking our premier days. You got Daniel Stakehouse, who is on Skyman. Racing.com, viewers from across the Tasman, they'll identify Skyman, they'll identify Daniel, and they'll go, right, I know this horse, I know its capability.
Yeah, you make a really good point.
And you get that traction there. Yep. So another aspect, another variable when you're looking into that betting, in particular in the last 5 minutes.
I don't think we'll see him drift. If you like him, I'll get on quick smart.
Okay. No, it's what, $9? Is it $9 currently? $9.
$9.10.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Final thoughts, Steve. Who have you got on top, I guess, in this year's Harcourt's Thorndon Mile?
Campanessa.
Yeah.
I loved her in the Zabeel. I made her my best of the day in the Zabeel, and she did the job.
Drop back doesn't worry you?
Drop back doesn't worry me one bit, particularly how she's mapped and the fact that her barn is drawn wide. I'm just taking a slight set against him on the map purely. He's definitely got the ability and he's got the Kennedy factor. I've got Pintura in that second line and Bad and Bouge. Now, I'm not saying he can win Bad and Bouge, but I reckon he can run above betting expectation. You look at his last 2 starts, he's finished second in a race that was very strong on the clock. Last start, he finished second to Adam I Am. If Adam I Am was in this race, he'd be at the point end of the market. He loves Trentham. He's finished third in a Cuddle Stakes, up against a quality group of fillies and mares. I think Pearl of Alsace won that in the autumn last year. So he loves the 1,600 metres at Trentham. He can be a bit of a tricky horse to assess whether having that killer instinct, but I think if you want to add one at Spice for those exotic bet types, trifectas, first fours, Bad and Bouge.
You like a roughie. Paul, final thoughts?
Campioness is going to be very, very hard to beat, but I really do like the look of El Vencedor. If we've got a track good 4 or better, I think on top of the ground from a very handy draw with Joe Doyle in the saddle.
Not a heap of speed.
No, he just might get away with some very, very cheap
I don't think he wants it to
sectionals.
crawl and sprint. I don't think he wants that race shape. He just wants to go even.
Yes.
Even to the 600. Don't go 6-7 lengths above standard. Just go even tempo to the 600. And there's no doubt they've mapped this race as soon as he ticked the mile box at Te Rapa a few months ago.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, Steve with Campionessa, Paulie with El Vencedor in this year's Group 1 Thorndon Mile.
Hey, I got a lot of faith in you. I'll stick with you, kid, that's the bottom line. Hey, I have a lot of fun.
Lance O'Sullivan Award time, and this jockey, she's made a great return to racing. Only been back a little while, but she's been absolutely flying, has Kelly Myers, and the Lance O'Sullivan Award goes to her this week, finding the fast lane down the middle of the track here on Midnight Special. I don't know if that's exactly the case, Steve, but looks an inspired ride.
She gave it away the
why did she
post-race
do that?
interview. She had it sewed up in terms of this award straight after the race, but then when she gave it away and said it was the horse that took her to the centre part of the track, we just had to rethink about this award, but BP was happy to give it to Kelly. But as you say, she's come back and hasn't missed a beat.
No.
You look at her and Maddie Cameron.
I'd love to see her ROI since she's been back. She's got a number of longer prices.
She got a $100 shut up yesterday.
And she's got some good rides tomorrow afternoon as well. So, yeah, she's come back. She hasn't missed a beat, as I say, and she's getting some plum rides on the back of that success. So, look, it's just added to the jockey ranks, which we were saying was a little bit skinny 12 or so months ago. The return of some of these high-profile jockeys that have been there and done that, the Maddie Camerons and Kelly Myers, etc., and then a few other jockeys that have come from overseas and South Africa and whatnot. It really has strengthened them up, and you can punt with a little bit of confidence going forward as well.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to give it to you, Kelly. I thought that was perfectly planned on Midnight Special, and she's this week's Lance O'Sullivan winner.
Well, I know I had it coming. I know I can't be free.
Paulie, doing hard time this week. Who was doing hard time over the last 7 days for you?
Oh, I thought we'd go down south, have a look at Wingatui and the run of Cherryville, who basically was 3 wide the trip. Unfortunately for Tina.com, I don't think she had any other options. It was either there was nowhere to really slot in, so it was either let her go and go to the front and maybe spend just a wee bit too much. And look, she did not change. She was 3 wide the whole way and only just went down in the final stride. And I'm pretty sure there was a bit of support for Cherryville on the day as well. So that's one I'd be looking for next time. She just needs a wee bit better of a run.
Bit of luck.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she'll be saluting the judge.
Yeah, okay. That was tough from Cherryville. You'd be a bit hard done by. You don't see them do that too often, just sit through wide and hold on, but nearly got there. Did Cherryville. Okay. Wellington Cup time, NZCIS Wellington Cup over the 3,200 metres. Steve, run us through this market, please.
Headed by Waisake, 3.8. I tell you what, if this horse wins, they'll make some noise on track tomorrow afternoon. But 3.8 and best back runner in front of Mary Louise at $5.50. In that third line, you've got Kenny Rock at $6.50. Then double figures around SVR, who is a notable losing result there. Prince Albie 9 out to 10. Yara Star always well played at $10. Rocher at a $12 price. Leaderboard, the defending champ at $18. Fierce Flight, the stablemate, is exactly the same quote there. And then best of the rest also Never Look Back from the CD at an $18 price. So overall summary, Waisake best back run at 3.8. Speaking around SVR and You Are a Star.
Yeah, okay. Look, the boys always get busy around these big races, Paul. You know, there's plenty of options out there around the Wellington Cup. I know they've got the growing in popularity early crow market up amongst others, but Yeah, the boys first to the winning post the first time round. They've got about a 1,000-metre run, probably a touch more. They start up the chute, don't they?
Up the chute, that's right, yeah.
Here's the early crow market, Paulie.
Exactly, and if you don't know where to find these markets, if you head to the TAB website or on the app, you'll see right across the top of your screen will be the Racing, Sport, In-Play and Punters Lounge tabs. Well, just under that there's another row, and if you click on Extra Markets, that'll take you to all the I guess the special markets that the boys have put out, which includes the early crow, and that's one for those who like to celebrate just a wee bit early.
Yeah, exactly. Love an early crow.
Well, we always hear the crowd go, lift
Well, T. Lee will lift them.
He will lift them for the final time this Saturday. And so, yeah, if you do like the look of someone who you think will get up front very, very early, like a Bluey's Chance, funnily enough, ran second to Waisaki when Waisaki won the Wellington Cup back in 2021. I think Bluey's Chance, a joint favourite to be the early crow winner at around 350.
Yeah, yes, T. Lee will give him the old let's hear you Wellington, and it'll be like a finish the first time round. Look, let's have a look at the Trentham Stakes, guys, because Blind Freddie could have seen the run here of Waisaki getting into third. A perfect lead-up, Steve, to a Wellington Cup, you'd suggest.
I think the perfect setup is the key phrase there, Thaddeus. Purely on the race shape, they've gone extremely hard, 25 lengths above open class, set up by Segundo, which that's his operation there. But in terms of a horse and a semi-final heading into a 2-mile race, fast early, slow late, perfect setup for Waisaki. He'll be right on song come tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, nice run, Paul. What do you say?
In fact, look, if that was an audition for a starring role, you'd say, yes, here you go. It's all yours. That was super. Wonderful, wonderful run there. Just finished off nice. Only has to carry 55 in the Cup.
Well, he hasn't won for 3 years.
I understand that, but there's a big red line in the futures book, I believe, on Waisaki. So
shocked me.
He was identified by the Taranaki Mafia a while out. So as you say, there'll be a huge roar if Waisaki can get home and add another Wellington Cup.
He's perfectly placed 55. He's set up for this race. He's the winner of it previously, so he loves the 3,200 metres. There's a lot to like around Waisaki. What about the QE2, guys? This features Mary Louise, who's right on the market, as is SVR. And Steve said there's a little bit of money around Mary Louise. What about this race, Steve?
Well, it's been franked. There's form coming out left, right and centre in this race. Look, again, they've gone out fairly hard, not as hard as what they did last Saturday here at Trentham. But again, it bodes well for horses that are wanting to get over 2 miles. Mary Louise, she's back last there. This was her first time right-handed, I believe. And you just watch her through the line and late past the line. I thought it was very attractive from Mary Louise for a horse that's just crying out for 2 miles now. She's got Trentham form lines, no dramas whatsoever. In fact, she probably comes more into it if we get those showers tomorrow afternoon. So she has to be a genuine chance. And she sits okay placed at 56 kilograms. Yeah, she's got a wide gate, but again, she's a horse that's going to get back, so no knock there.
Mary Louise, Paulie, or SVR, got them in the frame?
Mary Louise, definitely, and as Steve said, wide draw, no worries. She'll settle back, and Grills will get her out at the right time. But once again, that was another nice dress rehearsal in the Queen Elizabeth II. Just the way that she finished off, it suggests that the 2 miles is just perfect for her right now.
Yeah, no, it does look like that at around 5.5. Mary Louise right in commission. And the other race that a number of the combatants come out of is a Martin Cup. And Kenny Rock, this was a good win, Steve. There's plenty of runners in here. I mean, You Are a Star, I'll be set for this for 2 miles. Prince Albie wouldn't mind a shower of rain, but Kenny Rock ran away with it here.
Yeah, very attractive on the eye. Was well back commodity this day at the Bay and meets a lot of key rivals who finished in behind Kenny Rock. You see there, they've gone out fairly strong to the 600. They've come home a fraction below open class, 2.5 lengths, and then the class rating. No real knock if you make it a comparable assessment to the other lead-up races, which we've already seen graphically. So, look, that might just be the making of that horse. He's been a horse that's been a bit of a bridesmaid, has always been touted to go through the grades and win a good race, but he just hasn't done the job. But that was I'd almost say a soft kill with a little bit of arrogance there chucked in. Kelly Myers, we talk about Kelly. She gets the plum right on this horse. We know Kelly has had success in these staying races, so no knock there. Look, he'll get back, and again, if there's any rain, a bit like Mary Louise, they come well into the picture, where Waisaki doesn't really like a dark cloud. So it's intriguing how this race shape develops if we do get a little bit of showers on race day.
He's been knocking on the door, Kenny Rock.
Yeah, exactly.
For a number
been
of
well
starts.
backed as well, and
correct.
finally got the job done, hasn't he?
Yeah, and that might just be the sort of I guess the dynamo to
Push
for him to
forward.
release and keep going.
Yeah, exactly. What about Prince Albie? He's consistent. Paulie, anyone else that we haven't mentioned here in the Wellington Cup?
Look, if the rain does come, and I hope it doesn't, and look, the way the sun's popping out now,
Don't talk about it.
look, I think we're going to be fine. But if it does come, do we factor in someone like a leaderboard or?
Yeah. What about You Are a Star, Steve? Another 3,200 metre specialist who was probably hitting the line well enough, I would have thought, at Hastings.
Yeah, probably wanted to see a little bit more at Hastings, but they can be a grand final stable, in particular with this horse. They play around with this horse until they get to the 2 miles, New Zealand Cup. We see it won an Auckland Cup a few seasons back. Look, on performance ratings, it's a few lengths inferior to what it was when it won the Auckland Cup. It's had some injuries, issues between then and now. Yeah, look, for me, I can't see on recent form winning on Saturday, but it can definitely run in the first half dozen, and one to include exotic bet types.
Okay, well, who have you got on top in this year's Wellington Cup, Steve?
I'm going to go Kenny Rock. I was taken by that run, and I'm just trusting the eye more than the numbers. The numbers suggest he's not far off Waisaki and Mary Louise, but I just feel there's a sense of timing. That was a win of confidence going forward for Kenny Rock. And I just feel, no knock on whatever track is presented tomorrow. I'm just going to trust the eye and a bit of sense of timing, which you need when it comes to 2 mile races.
Yeah, okay. Paulie, have your final thoughts here, and who have you got on top?
Oh, I'm sticking with the Taranaki boys. Waisaki, as long as the rain stays away, very, very happy to be on Waisaki. If the rain does arrive, I'm happy to have an each-way going leaderboard.
Okay. Joe Doyle aboard leaderboard in this year's Wellington Cup. Steve with Canny Rock. Paulie with the favourite, Alan Sherrick trained with Saki.
You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there.
Crunching the Numbers is back this week. Steve, I believe you got some information around the 2-year-olds, and pretty well timed too, with an eye to the Karaka Million, which is just over a week away.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up my own personal performance ratings on the juveniles thus far this season here graphically. Look, the performance ratings I take into a key indicators such as race times, sectional times, margins spread, Thaddeus, previous ratings and weights carried. So there's a few variables that get in to build an overall performance rating for a juvenile. Captured by Love heads the performance rating, a 95.2 on the back of her performance at Trentham. Archaic Smile, outstanding last Saturday in the Wellesley, sits in that second seed at 94.6. Now you see brackets here with KM, so they're the horses that are eligible for our feature in roughly 8 or so days' time at Ellerslie. Bellatrix Start, 93.5. You've got Velocious there also, who brings 92.5 peak. They both come out of the Eclipse. So the Eclipse, in terms of a Karaka Million form line, is the number 1 seed. You've got Sunrise there, who won for John Barry over the hill here. Look, the rating was very, very good, 91.5. I tried to scale it down as far as I could, but it sits there at 91.5 purely because it was 1,000 metres, and often with 1,000 metre ratings to 1,200, especially for a speedy type, and she looked a bit keen in her racing, that can be a query. So horses in the past, this is dramatic, won that race a few years ago, but just didn't perform at Ellerslie. Contrasting track conditions, isn't it? Taranika heading to Ellerslie, 1,200 metres. But look, I'm not guaranteed the horse is running there, but in terms of speed ratings, deserves a shot. And then you've got Cool and Fast, which is the interesting runner. There at 88.1 on its debut performance. Look in the point scale. Look, it varies depending on distance, but a general rule is 2 points equals 1 length. So on that score, Cool and Fast rates 2.7 lengths inferior versus the Eclipse form line.
Okay, that's interesting, particularly with an eye to a Karaka Million market. I mean, Velocious there, I think, remains favourite, and you can understand that. Bellatrix Star right in commission with that high rating. And I see, look, Cool and Fast has eased. We had the big bet from Boys Get Paid. It got a little bit shorter than that, but it just has eased out Cool and Fast, and perhaps that's on the back of what we saw just previously.
Yeah, look, it's eased just in the last 7 days, and from our angle, it's purely based around performance ratings. There's been a bit of talk in the week about the horse being a bit shinny. The stable have dismissed that, and that's fair enough. As we know, Chinese whispers can develop in this industry, but the stable have said, look, he's as good as can be, and in fact he's having, I believe, a track gallop with a couple of key stablemates today if you're watching the show live at Ellerslie on Friday morning. But in terms of the A-grade form line, I do believe it's the Eclipse for horses that are eligible for the Karaka Million. That's Fallacious and Bellatrix Star. And at present, Cool and Fast deserves to only be in that third fave at a $5 price. Full Force at $8. The key about Full Force from the Benno Wynyard stable is now this horse has been able to stable at Cambridge, so it's hardly made any trip, or hasn't made a trip from the CD to the north, where previous 2-year-olds from that stable have had to do. They've got a base at Cambridge, which I think is crucial for that horse's chance for being a 2-year-old. You want to have as less travel under its guard leading into a feature race. And Bo Dazzler at $10, just on performance ratings. I talked to Dan O'Sullivan around where he rated this horse and what its performance was coming out of the Gold Coast a couple of weeks ago. He reckons our domestic 2-year-olds hold 2 or 3 lengths superior form lines, but as we know, juveniles can really improve from one race to one its next start. So look, if Opie decides to choose Cool and Fast, well, he might climb that betting ladder, but just purely on performance ratings, he deserves to be third line, and that's all.
It's not Liam Birchley's first rodeo over here either, is it?
Has he won it twice?
He has.
Yeah. Who would you ever be having a bet on in that Karaka Million market yet to?
First of all, if I'm a punter looking at the market, right, and with all the Chinese whispers going on...
You are a punter looking at the market.
I look at Cool and Fast, and I know that you've had a bet to win $1 million on, and it's drifted slightly. I'm glad that Steve said, out of the stable, nothing's wrong.
No.
It's all good. So outside of that, I don't mind the look of Poetic Champion at around $12.
Okay.
That's the value's all gone from the top
Mark
of the market.
Zara jumping on that horse.
Okay.
Indeed. So, if I was going to have a little each way go, Poetic Champion would be mine.
Well, there's no doubt we'll be chatting about this in more depth next Friday, but we want to get to race number 5 on the card, gentlemen, and that's the New Zealand Bloodstock Desert Gold Stakes Group 3 for the 3-year-old fillies over the mile, Steve, and run us through this market, please.
Yeah, they're very keen on the top 3 in the market. Thaddeus. Sabina heads to market at $3.30. Grail Seeker, best back runner in terms of dollars invested, holds 4 times more money than the number 5 at $3.60 off a peak of 4.8. Fashion Icon, open at 6, got as high as 7, back into 650, always well played from the CD Peter Didham stable. Mars 650 out of full point to 7.5. Sense of Timing at a $10 prize. Vera Rose $12 off a shortener at 10. Positivity 12 out to 14, and Dragon Blossom best of the rest at the original quote at $26. So look, overall summary, I'll go with a slight lead with Grail Seeker, but that's not to say Sabina and also Fashion Icon have not been back. They've been well played also. Yeah,
okay. Interesting market with those top 3. I'd wonder if the trucks and the lawnmowers would turn up, Paul. They've just arrived behind us, but this is the replay of Grail Seeker and 8 Carat, and I can understand why the marketplace is gravitating towards Grail Seeker.
Oh, 100% Grail Seeker, finishing in behind 2 of our very best 3-year-olds going around, Molly Bloom and Mary Shan. So I can understand why the money has come for Grail Seeker. Like the market, I really like the top 3 as well. Obviously, Molly Bloom and Mary Shan just race away with this one, but there's no knocks on Grail Seeker. That was a lovely, lovely run there, and through the line as well.
Yeah, look, that was a nice performance, Steve, and you can understand why the money's there.
Yeah, A-grade form line, isn't it? And behind Molly Bloom, Mary Shan, that form has been franked. And behind Grail Seeker, with the likes of About Time winning the Sir Patrick Hogan Stakes on New Year's Day, and also Tulsi, who finished midfield there, ran a nice second on the opening at Ellerslie on Sunday. So the form has been franked around Grail Seeker. And she probably was in the IG there, the inferior ground at Pukekohe that day. So you've got to take that of note. Yeah, look, it's hard horse to knock. I did open Sabina fave, but I wouldn't be shocked if Grail Seeker starts fave come tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, that's interesting in itself. Let's talk about Sabina and a couple of others as well. Fashion Icon Bella Corno doing battle at Hastings last time in the 3-year-old. Sabina getting the win, Paul.
Yeah, and missed the start, but really built into this race very, very nicely as they entered the turn. And then she just sort of cruised over that last 200 metres to win. She's had a number of meritorious performances as well. I thought the runs in both the Soliloquy and the Bone Crusher were very, very good. So I can understand why the boys have made her a favourite here. Fashion Icon, who only just got run over by Sabina there. She's put a nice little resume to her short career so far. This is by far her biggest test to date. But look, I thought that was a very, very good run in behind Sabina, and she does have a win here at Trentham as well. I think she's got a touch of class about her.
Okay, you said you made Sabina favourite, Steve. Tell us why you did.
I just love that performance. I thought she's come of age now, Sabina. She's just been in behind some of a better 3-year-olds this time in, but that was a really good performance. To come from where she did, to finish over the top of them behind, well, in front of Fashion Icon. Look, Fashion Icon, she's been a winning machine. In particular at Trentham the last few months. She gave Fashion Icon at the 600 3.5 lengths and finished over the top of her. She's related to Fix. She's had 3 runs at 1400 metres now. That's a perfect grounding to step up to 1600 metres on pedigree, being by Al Manzoor. I think that could be a sweet spot or even beyond 2000 metres, but definitely the step up in ground at a big roomy track at Trentham. She'll get every opportunity. Yeah, I love this filly. I really didn't know where to sit her prior to that win at Hawke's Bay. I just thought she'd be just going through the grades, but she may have X factor, and we might be speaking about her in the next 2 to 3 months as being right up there with our best 16 2,000 metre fillies. So, yeah, look, like I say, the money's telling me that Grail Seeker's going to start fave, but I don't have too much between the two.
Okay, and the last replay we have is Mars. He's in commission here for the foot team. Finishing third here at Pukekohe. Paulie, got Mars anywhere in your numbers?
Well, she did fight very, very well there at Counties. It was a nice maiden win, I thought, at Rotorua, so she seems to be like progressing very, very nicely.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's no doubt you've got on top, Steve. I'm not even going to ask you. Sabina for you. Paulie, who's your favourite or betting fancy perhaps in this year's Desert Gold?
Very hard to separate the top 3 for mine, so I'm going to take the longest price of the top 3, Fashion Icon, at around $6.50.
Okay, done nothing wrong, as you say, Fashion Icon. Paulie with Fashion Icon. Steve really rating Sabina, and we'd certainly be taking that on board. Overs Gods is back for another week. Trentham and Wingatui, they always have something for us down south, don't they, Paulie?
Oh, they get you boys almost on cue.
Yeah, exactly. It was the Kennedy barn that were trying to get hold of us down there at Wingatui. We'll get to them in a second. Your horse, pronounce it for me.
Nebuchadnezzar.
10s into 420. It was your bet of the day. So that must be the marketplace just following you in, is it?
Oh, fair income.
10 into 420. 10 into 420, well found, Paulie. Betty Spaghetti, wow, we haven't spoken about her yet. No chance. Not a good run there at 10th, obviously, around Betty Spaghetti.
Put a line through it.
Nah, yeah, she was unlucky.
Had every chance.
She had every chance, yeah. Terrible result, 18 into 6. She was unlucky. Quinn, she'll be back in a race we're going to touch on in a minute. Quintessa 460 to 280. They got the chocolates there with OP. I'm wonderful tonight. Decent move in the Telegraph and a nice run. 14 into $7 fourth. And the Sharrock team got us in the last there. Lock and Aura 460 into $2.50. Managed to salute. The Kennedy barn, as I mentioned, PK and Gordon. We'll be watching PK with interest wherever it goes next time. Sat 3 wide and didn't give it away, so watch out for PK. Gordon was big as well on 5th, 21 into 850. And Richard Stomper was the other one. They managed to get out on a good note down there at Wingatui, 850 into $5 and ran first. Okay, boys, last race we want to have a look at, race number 4 on the card, and that's the Rimutaka Classic. Steve, with the new race, 350,000 up for grabs here.
Now, Reyes heads the market at 360 in front of Betty Spaghetti, another firmie here, 8 into 650. John O'Rocco at 8.5. She is at third line with Sir Albert in final return. Sir Albert also a notable firmer off a peak of $12. A Doddle 8 out to 8.50. Did peak at $9. Benefactor at $10. We need a shocker bouncing between 14 and 12, and then best of the rest is to be Harnican at the $16 price in terms of horses that are in the final field market, excluding horses from the ballot. So, look, a nice even spread. The favourite's been well tried, but remains the original quote. Betty Spaghetti, in terms of dollars invested, obviously the best backed, but look, there's 3 or 4 they're willing to play here in a very, very competitive market, Thad.
Yeah, okay, interesting race. I see we haven't got Betty Spaghetti replaying the anniversary where it was finding rump stake the whole way up the straight with a 6-figure loss.
Just couldn't watch it again.
Exactly.
Well, they're back on, though.
Hey, no surprise, though. She was unlucky over a mile. She steps to 21 for the first time. But the race replay we want to have a look at first is Nereus winning at Hastings. Did it with a bit of authority here, Steve, I thought.
Yeah, I love this horse. Very progressive type. Obviously, it's had potentially the odd issue, being lightly raced 4-year-old. It's a full bro to a Group 1 winner in Savvy Cope. But I've just been very impressed on track, regardless of pedigree, etc. It's been doing the job. Look, it hasn't been smashing the clock, but it's just showing a touch of arrogance in both wins to date. Last start here, but also at Trentham 2 starts ago over a shorter distance. I think the crucial about this horse versus opposition is that it's had the 1 run over ground. I think it's going to be quite a true 2,000 metre race tomorrow afternoon. So those horses that have had a little bit of grounding, that 1 run over ground, I think it plays pivotal to their chances, where a few of these horses are coming from 1,600, which is just a slight negative, and that's why I'm gravitating towards Nereus.
He's been getting better and better with every race, and he's been stepping up over distance at the same time, which culminated in that win at Hawke's Bay over 2,100 metres. I think the Richie Murray combo have got him cherry ripe. He's ready to go. Look, it's a good field that he meets here. But he's at the top of his game right now. I think he'll be very, very hard to beat Nereus.
Yeah, okay. And he was very good there. You got Betty Spaghetti in your numbers? No.
I know Steve hasn't.
Yeah. $8.
Look, I don't think we got to see the real Betty Spaghetti in the anniversary last week.
No, she never got let down, did she?
No.
Wonder if this was always on the plans to back her up 7 days later, or was the anniversary the main goal? Because I feel like they were shortchanged purely on the run it didn't get 7 days ago. Yeah. Is this an afterthought?
Yeah, it would be.
It's hard to know, but the only query I have around that horse is first time over ground against this opposition. She is the one horse from 16 to 2-1.
Yeah,
well,
okay.
If anyone can get her over the 2,100, it's the Wizard of Woz.
Your man, the Wizard of Woz. Look, speaking of Southern Raiders, John L. Rocker and Sir Albert competed there at Farlap, Timaru, last time out. John O'Rocker finishing first, Steve.
Yeah, no knock on the speed rating. You see here come up graphically 1.2 lengths above the class. They look, both dropped back to the mile this day, and John O'Rocco and Sir Albert. I guess Kylie and Lisa just have to take their medicine on Saturday afternoon. Both horses have drawn very wide gates. Look, Sir Albert quite often needs to find his feet, so that might have been his map regardless of where he drew, but it does make things a little bit tricky. These horses have been running over 2,000 metres as preparation, so not so much a negative going from 16 to 2-1 on those two individuals, because they've had that grounding over a staying trip 2 starts back. But they'll have to rely on tempo. Kylie and Lisa, look, they're both gun jockeys. They'll work out the tempo and how it's unfolding in front of them. They'll be back in the last third. They'll just have to blend into the race when they feel is needed, just purely on the race shape, whether it's a below average to the 600, or if they go strong, they can be a little bit more patient.
I think Sir Albert, that was the run of the race out of that, what was it, the Timaru Cup? I think Lisa will settle back again from that wide draw, but I think we'll see Sir Albert coming towards the front as we come into the big long straight here at Trentham. So, yeah, I thought there was a very, very nice run by Sir Albert.
Continue to underrate these Southern Raiders, don't we, Paul, at Trentham?
I love the shape of this race. I mean, just the fit out, we've got a few Northerners there. The Southerners have come up. The CD is represented as well.
Yeah, the representation from the South Islanders this carnival would have to be at an all-time high in recent years. In particular, our feature races. They've just come up and they're all in the market. Some of them disrespected by yours truly, and we've been found out in the marketplace with decent liabilities, but they're definitely making their presence felt here at Trentham.
Yeah, absolutely they are. And just one word on Doddle, Steve. $9 in single figures. Chance?
Yeah, look, it brings that northern form, which naturally you'd feel is no disadvantage. Look, progressive horse. it can be a low percentage play, get back in races and rely on tempo. We've respected it. Obviously, Michael McNabb can't ride the horse being suspended, so that just takes a little bit of gloss off the horse. But look, I think if it ran close to its PB, it's just a genuine top 5 chance.
Okay. Who's your top selection in the race?
Oh, Nereus. I love Nereus.
Yeah.
I think he's a very progressive star. We could be talking about this horse as a genuine 2,000, 2,400 metre horse, and could even go to Australia, knowing the fact that it's owned by Waikato stud Nereus. He basically won this level of race last start at Hastings. This is basically a glorified rating 75, except 2 runners who sit above 75 in terms of rating. So he carries a similar weight. He's got a decent enough draw to put himself in the first half of the race. He's got the grounding, having a win over 2,000 metres last start. I think Nereus is one of my bets of the day at Trentham.
Ooh, Paulie.
I'm going to look outside the favourite here, seeing as Steve is very, very keen on Nereus. And I don't mind the look of Sir Albert, as I mentioned,
that. Yeah.
and Doddle.
Okay. So
Those are the 2 I'm going to have a little go with.
Well, that's about $8 or $9, so
Both,
you can play them both.
pair. Correct.
Okay, very good. Paul going for a split bet. Sir Albert and Doddle. Steve very keen on Nereus in this year's Rimataka Classic. Fourth play time on the leg up. Your chance to win a $100 bonus bet multi, 4 legs selected by us. Our good things of the weekend. Do we want to talk about last weekend's 4-play, Paul, before we move on? He's not here, so I suppose we can slag him, can't we?
Usually Meatloaf would say 3 out of 4 ain't bad.
3 out of 4 doesn't do much for us. Okay, where have we gone this week? Get to the TAB Facebook page, get involved with this week's question. It's going to be your favourite Tony Lee commentary for this week's leg up question. Here's the 4-play. BP's gone with Grail Seeker top 3 at $1.65.
Where have I got? Oh, yeah, the Wellington Cup. Yes, Waisaki top 4 at $1.55.
Yeah, I'll go to Trentham race 4 Nereus, just on the comments I've just made. Top 4 at $1.50.
Okay, and I'm the pie man, which is unusual, and it's a start as $2.10.
Dangerous.
Gone to the Duro Cup, massive capacity field.
You're following the bully there.
I followed the boys. The boys getting paid there with Reputation. It's been well backed already. I'm going Reputation top 4 at $2.10. That multi could return $705.61. Get to the TAB Facebook page, interact with the question, your favourite Tony Lee commentary, and you could be in to win that $100 multi.
Your reputation will be shot.
I know, it's the last race too. I shouldn't put myself last like BP did last weekend.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
Amateur hour. You want to get it out of the way, don't you? Okay, get to that TAB Facebook page, interact, and you could be a winner. Okay, guys, best bet time of the weekend. Okay, let's have a look at how we did last week. We'll start with BP's best bet. He's gone Segundo. I don't mind it, and it's been a move of 750 into 550. His ROI continues to climb, BP. If you've been with him for the last 6 months, he would have been well on side.
Time's ticking on the inside. Time's ticking to win. Segundo, then I don't know.
I'm going to Trentham. I'm going the 2-year-old as well as Lee. And I like the look of the first starter here. Nebuchadnezzar.
Oh, very good.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
glad you said it, not me.
Nebuchadnezzar is about to try and dash, but it's off and gone. Archaic smile for Michael McNabb, and he'll keep his wonderful record on this race intact here. And archaic smile from Nebuchadnezzar.
We'll go to Sunday, relaunch of Ellerslie, and we'll go to the last, race 6, rating 75.15. Francie.
Rudyard's got them in all sorts here. Rudyard is away for Sam Weatherly and will cruise it in. Second over, Russian Satire. Photos for third, Francie and Reverberations.
Ouch.
No chocolates, but there or thereabouts?
Yeah, maybe pass marks sort of all up the place. I mean, I don't know. I think you got third with Francie, didn't you, Steve?
Yeah,
Did you have
third. Yeah, just things didn't quite work out.
Not good
She'll
enough.
keep.
Not good enough, but you're getting warm. Your horse actually, if Archaic Smile ran a good rating there, then Nebuchadnezzar probably didn't run a bad rating either for your best bet. Might be one to follow.
I will be following.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get some decent odds as well.
Yeah, I don't think Steve will miss it this time. Righto, BP's best bet. He is not with us, as we all know. He's gone with a horse he likes from a stable he knows well, and that's Grail Seeker. We saw the run in the 8 carat behind the Gun Fillies. Probably down on the inside, it didn't suit. I needed probably to be sort of 6 or 7 horsewits off there at Pukekohe that day. Grail Seeker race 5 in a Desert Gold. He was plus 17. He's still a very respectable plus 16%. Grail Seeker, BP's bet of the weekend. Paulie, where have you gone this weekend?
I'll go for an easy race. The Group 1 Harcourt's team group, Thorndon Mile.
Oh, yes, a piece of cake.
I do love the look of El Vencedor. I know I'm sort of going slightly wide here, but
As you tend to do.
I thought the run in the Ritual was very, very good. And if we've got a good 4 or better, I think El Vencedor will be right in this at the end. I think the $10 represents a wee bit of value.
Yeah, okay, that's nice. I don't mind you going for a nice each way as your best bet. Steve, bring a little bit of sanity back to proceedings. What's your best bet?
I'll go to Trentham Early Doors Race 3. The rating's 65, 1,200 metres down the chute. The unbeaten 4-year-old mare Alexandra Quick, gee, she was super on debut at NP, trained by Alan Sharrock. Matt Cameron sticks aboard. She rated very strongly in terms of performance ratings out of that maiden win. She's well related, being a half to Carmen Line. Alexandra Quick in race 3.
Okay, there are our best bets of the weekend. BP with Grail Seeker, Paul and El Vencedor, and Hunty Alexandra Quick. Bonus back runner time, and bonus back this weekend. It's the Grand Tour, obviously, this weekend. Paul continues on its merry way in the first 6 races, I believe. Bonus back here, but first the bonus back bets. BP, La Bella Grande in race number 1 to kick us off on the day. Paul, what have you got?
I've gone to race 6 at Trentham. I love the look of the second favourite at the moment. Number 2, Kana. A Tavachi mare. She's got some very, very good form. Forget the last start in the Stewards. I think she's back to her best here with Daniel Stackhouse aboard.
Okay, Steve.
You got the same race as BP. Your race 1 has to be a winner. Just rated through the roof last start at Tauranga. Hasn't been seen for 4 or 5 weeks, but I'm trusting the stable. There's plenty of speed in the first race over the 1,400 metres at Trentham, so they might just have to take a sit. But just purely on numbers, has to be a winner. Is my bonus back for the day.
Yeah, okay, and I'm going to have a dabble down south, boys. This is dangerous play, as BP found out recently, but I'm going to Gore, race number 2. John Blackadder trains a horse first up, First Lieutenant. Plenty of money on, and when the money goes on from the Blackadder stable, I want to be involved, and I think you should be too. So there's a good bonus back bet. First Lieutenant this weekend. It's bonus back everywhere. Paulie, tell us about it.
Yeah, the Grand Tour bonus back at Trentham. The races 1 to 6, back to 2nd, 3rd and 4th. And then the first 4 races at Gore, Flemington and Rosehill this Saturday. Once again, also back to 2nd, 3rd or 4th.
Okay, I was Gore, Flemington, Rosehill, and we're 8 days away from a Boys Get Paid Punters Club, gentlemen. And look at that current balance, pretty juicy.
Almost $500,000, and I'm sure we'll see that rise exponentially over the next 7 races.
What are we thinking?
7 days.
They'll get it. They'll get $1 million, won't they?
Oh, I think they'll easily get $1 million.
Yeah. Did they have $1 million last year? I can't remember. I think they did.
Yeah.
And they're betting to win $1 million with Cool and Fast. They've had a bet on Faraglione during the week as well. Yeah,
On the back of a very tidy trial on the CD.
Okay, so they're going to be...
There's a couple to cheer for, punters.
Yeah, well, a fair fight, that's all we want. No, good luck to the BGP Punters Club. Get involved there on the Taboo website. You better find it by clicking along the icons on the top. And look, plenty of specials as well around the Wellington Cup and the like, the Thorndon Mile. There'll be special markets around all those pools as well.
Power plays, feature markets. There should be something for everyone around the Melbourne Cup. Wellington Cup.
Not quite. Not quite. But absolutely. And the boys have been very busy, so check all those markets out. Okay, it's time to say goodbye for another week on the Leg Up. Thank you, Paul, for your efforts.
Just the sun just starting to disappear.
Finally.
To save you. The back of your neck is looking very, very red. And there's a little bit of a breeze picking up now. So hopefully we get a great day on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. Tony Lee's last day, Steve. Thanks for your efforts as always.
Cheers. This time next week. The big one.
Yeah.
KM. And on track.
Are you going to be on course at Ellerslie next week?
I'm going to try and get up there.
Very good.
And I've just heard through BP is back next week.
Oh, my goodness.
He's got no more leave.
So thank you, boys. Thanks for your efforts. It's a massive week. It's a massive day tomorrow. It's a massive week next week. We'll see you in 7 days' time on the Leg Up.
Thank you, Tony Lee.